Hello.
We are here.
Maybe we think.
We think
We're not
we are.
certain. Things are happening. We're both scared.
I feel like we did this earlier and it's stuck this way now.
What?
It's zoomed in or something. See how it's tighter than it was before?
Yeah.
It's taken up all of the screen. Pop that out, but that's not going to help me.
I like how you're just Mr. Forehead now.
Right? That's what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like we've got... Hey, David.
Hey, David.
What up, guys?
Figure this out. I mean, like, here it's fine. Why is it so weird? Huh. What did I screw up?
You might not have screwed up anything. They did do an update, and they were talking about something about vertical mode.
What are we trying to do?
Yeah, but vertical mode's this. Vertical mode, you can't do it because we're live. Let's see. RT images of super local files from your nose breath, whatever. Okay, I don't know what's going on. You people. Can we move something over here?
What are we doing?
I'm just trying to fix the. So, can you see they've made this really big? So, like,
what really
now
big?
it's very narrow and thin over here. So I'm trying to figure out what they did to it. Because I mean, like, if you look here, see how it has the room now all around it, and there's space, and you can see all of the ducts and things like that around it. But when we switch to this mode, it just fills the entire thing.
Interesting.
So I'm trying to figure out what switch got thrown that made it do the things. Why is it doing this all of a sudden? And so I'm dinking with buttons. Watch out! I will dink with buttons. Don't think I won't.
He's dinking with all the things.
All the things.
Dang.
Warp. 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 Warp.
So how are you this evening, David?
Me?
Yes.
You know, the regular stuff sucks all the time. I gotta work tomorrow, but I gotta go in super early because I'm training.
Oh, you got a new guy?
No, I'm getting training.
Oh. Well, there you go.
And then my supervisor's being stupid. He's like, you're going to get AWOL'd if you don't bring a doctor's note in tomorrow. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Are you feeling bad?
Huh?
Are you feeling sick?
No, I'm fine. I just didn't want to go to work.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that.
So then I just virtual visited KP, and they're like, okay, yeah, we can provide you one. So I'm like, cool. There's my doctor's note. Fizzle.
Shafizzle. Oh, I was going to show you how to make a brush. Are you still interested in doing that?
Yes.
All right. I need to move me out of the way, though, because you need the controls over here.
You guys using Clip Studio?
Yep, this is in Clip Studio. So what we do is we'll take a tool, any tool that we've got that's already in our thing, like all these tools over here. You just pick one, and then you say duplicate subtool. That's the first thing you do, right? Once you do that, we're going to pretend like I duplicated a subtool. Tell me when you're following me. Are you following me yet?
Okay, so create a copy of the current subtool.
No, it should be the first. Right mouse click on a tool, and then it should be the first thing on the first option. Duplicate subtool.
I see it.
Right.
Okay.
And it'll show up down here at the bottom. I just did this with a Disney thing because I wanted to capture the pattern. So then you go down here where it's got the controls on this, and you hit the wrench to bring up the controls. So the proper tool property.
Bring up the wrench.
The only thing I'm not sure about is how to get it into where you're actually using it, but that's okay.
Okay, I've hit the wrench.
Okay, and then down here you'll see texture.
Yes.
And you say none, and then we can pull them up from here. But there was a step that I remember we can do. Copy value. Where is it? Because there was a step in here that we can use for this, and I'm trying to remember what it was. But this is what you want here, is this tag.
Hang on. What tag?
So this texture and then none. And it just needs to be, we need to get the texture loaded into your texture directories. So you can click to the downloaded material, created materials, things like that are over here.
Created materials.
Downloaded materials, additional materials. It's not easy, so we've got to figure out where they hid it. These are all Wallops materials, image materials. Where did they put it? Yeah, so, okay. So going ahead real quick, let's close this out. Now that you've made it, we can come back to it. And open the texture in your, open the texture up. Because I'm going to try to remember how I did it. Because I did it once and it worked just fine. So while you're opening the texture, because that's what I was doing, was I had a texture. I just need to remember where I did it, because I had. So it's I remember it being not exactly what you thought it was, right? Which is obvious because whatever it's doing, it's here it is. It's under the brush tip.
Okay, so I have this opened up in here, file. Do I save it?
No, well, I mean, if you don't need to save it at this point. We're going to copy it into this. I just need to remember how it works. Brush value. And then it's here. Dang it. I had it. I swear I did this. I just did this like 2 days ago. Why can't I get it to work now? Good night. We're trying to figure this out.
Good night.
Good night. Because it needs to be in this created material. If we've got it there, we can make it into a brush. But I don't know how to get it over to that creative material. That's what I was trying to remember. I seem to remember that you don't do this. You go to brush tip and you say circle in the material. And then it gives you the option to load a material from somewhere else. So, because I can see it right here, but it's grayed out. And I'm trying to figure out why it's grayed out.
No. Woo.
Okay, well, I thought I had it. I was sure I had it. This is where we need to be, right in here. But it's not that. Oh, that's where it is. Okay, I got it. See, this is brush shape, brush tip, not two. It's one. So that's what it is. It's this first one: brush tape, brush shape, brush tip, and then you click material, and then all you need to do is this allows you to pull up any material from anywhere, including your own spots.
Okay, how do I pull up from one of my spots? Additional materials? Oh.
Yeah. So what we do is this. Okay, so step one. Here we go. Let's back out again. I'm so sorry. I swear I know how to do this. Okay, step one. Go back to the normal area here. Here, let me just do this. New.
You're confusing the hell out of me.
I know, because I'm a horrible human being, and I get that. We'll do.
Yo, I heard Happy Town Longmont is closing, Brian.
That's not cool. Okay, I'm gonna take this, and just so that I can show you kind of what we're doing here, we'll mimic what you're doing, right? So I've got dots. Okay, there we go. So what I will do is say save as, right? Or do I save to materials? I guess we might save to materials. So we open our materials palette, which is this section over here.
I don't see that section on mine.
That should be all your little folders.
Okay, that's on the other side. Okay. And now how do I save that pattern into the materials?
So that's up at the top. And we go up here and we say, where is it? Because it's the same as it is in Photoshop. Which is, hang on real quick. So we select all on the thing that you've got over there, that pattern. Select all. And then it's, if I can just remember where the hell it is. Oh, there it is. So it's edit, register material, image. And then you can save it. And when you do, you choose the location. Make sure you choose download the folder, because that's one that you can get back into. So make sure to get into folder and then download.
Okay.
Okay. I don't actually want to save this, but I will save it because I love you. So there. So then it saves it, and it's there. So now you can see it in the download folder, in the guy folder, right? So there, or in the can folder, which it might be, right? Then we don't need to bring this up anymore. We can shrink it back down again, because at this point now we go through and do what we were talking about with the brush. So we go into the tool, hit the sub tool. Who else is joining us? Pepper. hit the subtool, right? And then under brush shape, brush tip, clip tip shape material, and then click this eject button. Where is it? Where'd it go? Let's see if it shows up in here. I have a lot of stars. I'm a star person. Don't judge.
Star charts.
And it's in one of these.
Don't fool yourself, guys, in all of them.
Wouldn't that be like obnoxious if it was in all of them?
Yeah.
You probably search for it. This is not, by the way, easy. Okay, but where did you get that one from? There.
Are you sure you've done this before?
Because I just did it. I have this Disney Light sketch color. It's designed for...
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
No. Hi there, Bob. Hi there, Brent. We could do Blender 101. If you want. We're trying to make brush shapes. Have you been able to pull it up?
No, I'm. This is going way beyond what I want for this page, so I'm just gonna skip it for now.
Well, okay, but you gotta tell me because I'm still waiting for it.
Well, I couldn't find it. It would not bring it up.
It's all good. Well, yeah, I've got my head down over here, man. I'm trying to help Tan. That's all right. It's all right. All right. And Pepper is working on something with a down camera.
I am working on the blue pencil line for the comic that I do with Bills so that he will write.
Right.
So it's not the penis one?
No. No. AI Bill wrote the penis one. And for those who don't know, we are talking about an AI written comic script about a talking penis. Several, actually.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
the first one seemed like a PSA for safe sex, so
that was fair.
Oh, sorry, my cup of water is not allowed on the table while I'm doing this. No. I will probably not be joining you guys tomorrow. I have a bunch of house chores I need to get done first thing.
Okay.
Oh my God, not house.
You know, house chores cannot be merged together. I'm just saying.
Well, no, they can't. But these
if you say house
ones,
chores together, it becomes. I'm not saying it.
well, in this case, it's basically cleaning up two rooms side by side. So, I guess you can merge those two together.
You know, every time Bob says hi, guy, I have no choice but to go, hi, Bob. It's an important piece, an important thing. It's also now very much a reference to how many Bobs do I know? 3. 4. 4. I mean, if you count like, well, people that I interact with relatively commonly, I guess. But Hi Bob is a reference to For All Mankind.
What about Low Bob? Or maybe Side Bob?
Sideshow Bob?
I didn't say Sideshow. I just said Side Bob.
Just just go in there.
So are we gonna get the OnlyFans or not?
Are we out for OnlyFans again?
Well, we can talk about it, like, but like, I guess I don't know, like, if we did it, like, what exactly would we be doing besides like Guy going on there and showing videos of him drawing Chang in non-solicited ways, just regular, but she's just naked. I mean, I'm sure everyone else here probably do a little bit more pornographic things on there, I guess. But we each have our own style of art and own preferences when we do that stuff. So, is it worth doing one together at this point, I guess?
Damn, you're right.
So, Bob, that actually, it is a reference to the Bob Newhart show via For All Mankind. So there's a part in season 2 where the astronauts are stuck on the moon base, and all they have is like 5 tapes of the Bob Newhart show. And so they're waiting for NASA to figure out the problem and get everything figured out. They watch those 5 episodes over and over and over and over and over, and it becomes one of those things that those 3 astronauts later, then whenever they see each other, they all go, "Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob." And that becomes sort of a thing. So it actually is, in fact, a reference to the Bob Newhart show. Deep cut.
This is my brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl.
Other brother Daryl. Yarr.
I mean, I grew up with actually 3 Uncle Bobs, so that was interesting.
That happened.
Having to clarify which Uncle Bob.
My
It
dad
brought a whole new
has-
meaning to Bob's your uncle.
My
Yep.
dad has 4 brothers: Brent, Bruce, Brian, Brad, and my dad is Bob.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the sign that the parents hate you.
I don't know about that. I liked my Uncle Bob, my grandfather's brother. He was deaf. It was
Mhm.
fun. I could sit there and scream, and he would actually hear me because of the way his deafness was. So I would be allowed to scream at the top of my lungs at him, no matter what. It was fun and hilarious at the same time as a small child. He's passed on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So. Oh, Guy,
That's me.
I figured you would appreciate this because several people I know are starting to post this after our wonderful discussion last night, which I'm not trying to reignite. I'm just
You're
trying to
reigniting
tell
it.
you something. No, I'm not. So there was a call to action for artists to overwhelm AI generators to make them make Disney princesses.
Disney princesses. Because then it'll totally trip Disney.
Yep.
That's kind of funny.
Well, and here's the other side to that. I just ran into something because I was going through Midjourney's terms of services. You don't actually own the copyright to it.
Nope.
They do.
That's fascinating to me.
And here's the other funny thing. And this is what I was going to comment to Guy. Let's bring this up. Because I don't think they can legally do this. Okay. You are responsible for your use of the service. If you harm someone else or get into a dispute with someone else, we will not be involved. If you knowingly infringe somebody else's intellectual property and that costs us money, we are going to come find you and collect that money from you. We might also do other stuff like try to get a court to make you pay our attorney's fee. Don't do it.
This is on Midjourney?
Yes.
You know what? I think this is probably their solution to the problem.
Mm-hmm. This is CYA.
Yeah, because they're noticing artists are getting really pissed off, and more and more stories are coming out about people trying to do events and stuff. So,
Well, like I said, we've put a policy out already on our side too. Andy K's put a policy out.
And that's probably a smart policy just to have,
Mm-hmm.
particularly if they're not going to, if they're going to take copyright, but they don't want to take responsibility for copyright.
mm-hmm.
That just exposes you guys to a bunch of threats from it.
Yep. And we don't want to mess with it. We got better things to do, like run a con.
Yeah.
Well, in your case, Guy, to shoot arrows at a convention.
That is very important. I'm just saying.
When's NDK again?
Labor Day weekend.
Maybe I'll come to my first one.
Okay. When you do, go to opening ceremonies. I shoot an arrow. It's very cool.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, snaps. Well, I'm probably not going to be able to make it.
Well, that's defeatist.
Especially since I said I was going to try to make it.
Not with that. Yeah, I'm still doing Qdo. I'm doing it better now because the pills that I'm taking are doing a lot better on making my joints not hurt so bad. Qdo is particularly intensive on joints hurting and things, so it's always a plus. Andy was asking if I'm still doing Qdo.
What's Qdo?
Judo is Japanese archery.
Oh yeah, we had a discussion about that the other time. My bad.
It's all good. I mean, you know, I'm gonna disown you and stuff, but you know, we're fine,
That's
right? I mean, you know, it's a thing. Oh, don't quit,
Who's quitting?
Andy. Don't quit, Andy. Take Kudo. Actually, really, no, take Kudo, because then you and I'd have a practice buddy. I have nobody to practice with. Totally need to take Kudo.
I haven't done archery since I was in the Boy Scouts, so
Yeah.
they told me I wasn't allowed to do it after my first session anyway, so
Did you
Squirrel!
almost shoot somebody?
I was gonna say, did you set fire to something? What'd you do?
squirrel.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. My bow is 18 soon, and it runs in at, I want to say it was, gosh, I can't really. I think it's an 8-kilogram bow. Seems like it was an 8-kilogram pull. So the bow itself is asymmetrical. So Bob's asking, so I will show. Let's see here.
damn, Brian. You cold?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is currently 49 degrees where I'm at.
In your house?
In the home that I'm in, yes.
Holy shit, dude! I'm sorry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with my brother here, we're sharing power. And if we both have our heaters going, then it pops the circuit.
Yeah.
So I'm letting him have the heat.
What do you get?
When I get to bed, I have my electric blanket.
So you won't freeze to death? Please don't
Yeah,
freeze to death.
I'll be nice and warm tonight.
Okay, that's good.
But I am searching for a solution to get heat in here, and I need about $200 to do it.
Yo, let me get paid this weekend.
Because that will allow me to buy a diesel heater, and I can install it and actually have heat in here.
I don't know if I can hook you up with the whole 200, but I can give you some money this weekend.
Okay.
You said a diesel heater?
Yes.
Just be careful about the fumes, please. Says guy worrying about you.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about them is that they burn dryly, so there's no moisture that's taken up, and they pull oxygen from outside, so you don't have to worry about suffocating in the middle of the night.
There we go.
I'll see what I can do to help you this weekend. Just remind me.
Okay.
So, no, that's the one I want. There we go. So, yeah, they use kerosene there. That's my sensei. And that's the bow that he used. You can see how tall it is because it goes from all the way here to down to here. So, that's Haragai Sensei. He passed away a few years ago. And never got to go back and visit him. That was kind of a bummer. But in general, when we practice, we practice against what's called a makiwara, which is a practice. It's like a barrel, but it's for practicing. Let's see if I can find one for you. Yeah, so it's just a big round drum of straw, like this. And it's not very far from you, and you just fire the arrow straight at it. And yeah, that's actually, that happens a lot with people who are first starting out. So that's not an uncommon thing. They gave me a really weak bow to begin with. Like, it was stupid weak. And they actually kind of gently ribbed me for it. I noticed. I was getting ribbing for it. It's like, are you taunting me? I guess you're taunting me. But yeah, that's my sensei. He was a pest, but I loved him. He really was like a goofy guy. He was weird, but he was the best. And he always like let me take these bizarre pictures of him. It was very funny. But never when he was, in serious sensei mode. I got pictures like this when he wasn't in serious sensei mode. This is him going, are you taking pictures of me, guy? Yes, I'm taking pictures of you, sensei. I'm always taking pictures. It was an ongoing thing. I took pictures of everybody in my dojo because they were all weird and funny people. I love those guys. I miss my dojo.
Man, I was weird.
Kimura-san, she had a runny nose, and she's like, I'm over the runny nose. And I'm like, okay. I was like, fine. It was pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, I was in an adult dojo, so that's a different story. I was in an adult dojo. It wasn't... Sensei taught at Sakai High School, but he didn't... That's not where we met. We met in his dojo. So we didn't meet. It was it was like whatever, Tuesday and Thursday nights, and we'd get together at his dojo and we'd practice for 2 or 3 hours, and then we'd go home. And so it was cool. I hope that I can get back to Japan and see all these guys again. Yep. Yeah, my kids at school were impressed because apparently, and I don't know why, but in Ibaraki Prefecture, you weren't allowed to practice Kyudo in junior high. Cool. That's the hardest one. Oh, and if you come back to here, Andy, make sure you take care of the gummi-yumi, the rubber part of the gummi-yumi, because that thing will be like, it'll fall apart. But I got the better gummi-yumi, the one, because there's like 2 kinds. There's the one that's just the stick with the rubber coming off of the top. And then there's the one that's the stick with the rubber going from the top to the bottom. I like that one better because the first one you pull and you get into extension, and it pulls upward on your hand, and the other one seems more base or balanced. Yar. It is. We have to keep our shoulders down, and if you are a proper sensei, you carry an arrow around, so that if the student does not drop their shoulders properly, then you whap them on the shoulders with your arrow. This is what I have learned from sensei.
It doesn't hurt though.
It does hurt a lot.
In a good way?
Not really.
Does it feel good?
In a way that makes you remember.
Yep, pain is an excellent teacher.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Where's that from? Pain is weakness leaving the body. I know that's from somewhere.
What, pain is an excellent teacher?
No, as Andy said, pain is just weakness leaving the body.
Oh, that's military. That's sort of a classic military statement.
No, a classic military one would be like, you're going to do push-ups until I get tired.
Yeah, that's classic military too.
Oh, man.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like a Catholic teacher with a ruler. Yeah. You're not wrong.
Depends on the Catholic school, though.
I think we're just referring to in the trope version of it.
No, I mean, sometimes they don't have a ruler, they have a paddle.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think that this is referencing the trope version of it. Yeah,
or they'll just put you in the Iron Maiden.
My Catholic school didn't have an Iron Maiden, but...
Oh.
Well, I'm starting to get really cold in here, so I am going to bow out for the rest of the evening, guys. It has been great. I will catch you tomorrow.
All right.
Good night.
Night.
Take it easy and be careful and take care of yourself, my friend.
I will. Talk to you later.
I'm gonna go soon myself. I gotta get up at like
Oh,
5
stupid
five.
o'clock. Yeah.
I'm probably gonna leave right after I'm done hard blue penciling this. So
Damn, guy, you're gonna be by yourself. I mean, dang, guy, you're gonna be by yourself.
Yeah, that's all right. Not the first time. I'll just cry.
As you should be.
well, no, we're just gonna all leave, and the show will just start playing. You know that song "All by Myself."
All
All by
by
myself.
myself. Don't wanna be all by myself.
Sung by George.
Meow, 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 meow.
Yeah.
Meow, meow,
Andy,
meow, meow.
that was Brian. He's part of our RTG group, our old school RTG group that grew at Perkins.
Who?
I'm telling Andy who Brian was, or
Oh.
Kane.
Oh yeah. So no, don't worry about Andy. So that's Can, and Can actually, yeah, he goes by Can. So this is one of those things. Online, he's Can. He's known as Can, and he's been known as Can for like 15 or 20 years now. So we, of course, he joined our in real life group, and when he did, we learned his name. His name is Brian, and so we were like, "Oh, it's Brian." And then when he and I decided to start doing this streaming thing with Pepper, and he started joining us and things like that, he was like, "Oh, I'm bringing in people from Twitch, and I'm bringing in people, so we should probably call me by Can because they don't know who Brian is." So that's where we get that, and that's part of the reason why from time to time I go, Brian, I mean Can, and I forget totally that I'm not supposed to call him that. So that's why you get two names out of him. And that's the story. So it's not, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is totally cool.
Only becomes a problem when he says so.
Yerp.
And that guy produces. Man,
Man,
does he put down content like it's no tomorrow?
he was joking earlier today. He's like, you were talking last night about the problem with AI is the speed problem, and he said, well, I don't really have that speed problem. I was like, that's a flex, man. That's a flex. It was pretty funny.
Like, I remember when we were doing comics at the Perkins, that dude would have his comic done way before anybody else even was thinking about doing the comic.
It's true. You're not wrong. So,
and I feel you, Andy, but he's like our age. And he still does it.
Yeah. Rattles them out. Oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah, probably anabolic.
So the real story behind that is actually kind of not sad per se, but he's had a couple of really close brushes with death, and so he's now on the I better finish all this stuff before I die. Is really kind of where he's at.
Damn, that was dark. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Sort of why he pushes so hard. That's why we got to keep him, we got to pull him back from time to time. Keep him from pushing way too hard. So. No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, COVID tried to take him out
Unsuccessfully, I might add.
unsuccessfully, but he was about what he said he was like 10 minutes or 20 minutes away from being intubated.
I don't know. It was pretty.
It was close.
Yeah,
I mean, he sends me a picture of him in the hospital, all hooked up to tubes and everything, out of the blue because he hadn't been on the show for a while. And so I just assumed he was taking a break. And he sends me this picture of him, and he's hooked up to all these tubes. And he's like, well, COVID tried to beat me, but it didn't. And I was like, what? So I was just like shocked. It was, oh my goodness. Was not ready for that. Speed is very important for manga artists. I need a darker blue. Like you. Okay, let's take a look at some of these darker blues. See, this is the wrong chart. I have two of these. One of them is higher resolution than the other. I hate that. You. No. You. There we go. We can see all of these guys and their names. I like the stratospheric blue. Yeah, I started out that way. I started out in the in traditional. And this is just faster. That royal blue is pretty dark too. I don't want it to be that close. It's pretty close.
I must admit, drawing on paper and pencil though, kind of, I don't know how to put it. It kind of feels better, only because I've done it for so long.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I could do this agate. Wonder what happened if we did that agate. Let's just take a look. You can make these.
I never dealt with toning sheets. Holy crap, those things scared me.
I'm not looking at the screen, so I don't know what you guys are being asked.
Andy's talking about Zipatone. So, okay. Andy, I went to Joyful Honda and picked up a whole bunch of those. And I now have them in here. And what I've done since then was to take them and put them in here where I've got these toning sheets. So I can just bring them in at any time. And they're a whole lot easier to deal with here than they are anywhere else.
No, I still won't deal with those things. Do that noise.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like Jareth and Jan was like they were fast, but they weren't fast enough, and that's the thing that gets me. Was like I saw Jareth draw, and he was fast, and Jan, you know, when she was at her heyday, especially doing cell work, just insane. And it was like, ugh. I actually managed to talk to Jan a little bit about doing cells and stuff like that. And it's so, you know, it was great. I got to get a lot of input from her. That was very useful. Very, very useful. I don't know, this agate's not bad. Looking over here, I wanted a different shade of blue for the dress. That's like a blue-green, and I'm not sure how much I like that blue-green per se. But I don't want to go to, well, maybe this night blue. Let's try this. See what happens.
Mix phthalo green and phthalo blue.
Only
Right.
if you get happy little trees.
See, that's too light. I don't like that one as much.
Guy, mix phthalo blue and phthalo green.
Well, it's a dark blue.
Okay, not a blue green. Got it.
No, it's not a blue green. The agate was too blue green. That was part of the problem. But I've already got the primary uniform is this Prussian blue, and so I'm trying to find something similar. This Prussian blue here, B39. I don't know, maybe B37. It's kind of a blue green, but it might not be. Well,
Try. Do they have an indigo one?
what are you doing? What are you doing? Meow. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was asking. Do they have an indigo? Indigo.
Huh?
Maybe that's what indigo is. Maybe where I need to go. That's a good question. Go over to the BV section.
No
Yeah.
way. Indigo is more a royal color, not a military color.
Yeah,
Unless it's a
there's
royal
nothing over
military.
here that except eggplant, which plausibly would be there, but that's dark enough. There is a deep reddish blue. Let's take a look at that real quick, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really does look purple. It actually somewhat looks.
Like I said,
Oh man, talking to Jan about when she was at, what was it, Studio IG, I think was when she was at Studio IG during the Evangelion days. That was wild. Sorry, I'm talking to Bob. Bob and I have a couple of buddies who in the 80s and 90s worked in the actual anime industry and worked in Japan, and so that's what we're discussing over here. Like this iris, that's so purple. I think I may have just already used like the best possible color for this uniform.
Mm-hmm.
That's bothering me. Yeah, this looks purple too.
I have to do another one of these too. Not looking forward. The beauty of having to do two covers.
Right. That royal blue is what that uniform used to be, so I'm okay with that. I'll take that. But it still looks pretty much exactly like the other uniform. I was going to try to make a darker uniform, but I don't think I'm going to do it. We'll just head for this color and use that. That way I don't have to change colors or color bands. I haven't heard from Jareth in a long time, Bob. Is he still okay? Have you heard from him recently? I mean, like I talked to Jan like last year, so, but I haven't heard from Jareth probably since the dye days. Didn't he become the Goblin King? Are we talking about Jareth? Like, wait. Oh. Yeah. Next time you talk to him, I say hi, and he will say who, because I don't think he'll remember me, which is okay. I don't mind. But you can tell him I remember him and remember him fondly, so. As they say in Japan, yoroshiku. Go ahead and just. Well, that's all right. The number of times, Andy, that I have tried to fire off a joke and then said, yeah, that sounded better in my head, happens a lot. Yeah. Yes, actually, Bob's right. That's intentional. So. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's a Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Ugh. That booster is brutal. Although, to be fair, still better than COVID. It's still brutal.
I, which have gotten both, agree.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, you almost lost Can.
Hey, I initially got the actual vaccine, and then I was told medically I'm not allowed to do the booster.
Yeah, you still get the protection from the vaccine. It'll still stand it down a little bit. That'll help you.
Yeah.
Which is good because don't want you dying of that thing either.
Well, I mean, I've already had it, so.
Still don't want you dying. Well, yeah. It doesn't stop you from getting it and still dying.
I know. My family actually has I have one family member that had it 3 times.
Yeah.
And she finally broke down and got the COVID shot.
Right.
I know a guy at work who's a avid conservative saying, "Oh, I don't need it." Got it one time, say I'm cool. Got it a second time, got sicker, recovered. While in recovery, got it a third time.
Yep. Different
was
variants.
Hospitalized.
Yeah, it was.
Still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, for my family member, it was the same thing. The only thing that was different is she's a nurse, and she at the time when she was full blown nursing, right now she's on leave, not because of COVID, it was something else. She actually was working with COVID patients. That's why she kept getting reinfected.
Yep. Well, and the variants, one of the reasons that COVID's so stupid nasty is because it mutates so freaking fast. But yeah, that's one of those things. I had 2 family members actually. They got it once, they survived, and then said, it's not that bad, and then got it a second time and died. I was like, okay.
See, that's how it gets you.
Right? I'm like,
oh, it's not that bad. Oh, dead.
Yep, dead.
Yeah, my grandfather's death is considered a COVID death, but he actually died due to complications of COVID and having part of his lung removed due to lung cancer.
Well, that means
So,
it's compromised. Yeah, that sucks.
in reality, my family had to kind of go like, do not mark that as a COVID death. That is not a COVID death.
Yeah, part of the reason that people are so confused is because of the way that we do all of those things.
Yeah.
Wall of Pantone. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, look at that one there. You can't even see you. It's George Break.
All right, well, I'm going to sleep. I'll see you guys later.
See you later. Good night,
Yeah.
Dave. Good luck tomorrow, huh?
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good luck. And then there were two.
And then there were two. Well, there's three right now because we got George. He's George. He's a pest. So David is also from our group. Actually, pretty much all three of these guys are from a group that I belong to called that used to be called Red Team Go. And
I was not an official member.
nope, you were an unofficial member of Red Team Go.
Yeah.
And Red Team Go had a falling out, and I don't even know, but they sort of fell out, and when they did, I just went ahead, and Pepper and I had been talking, and I was like, you know what, we could do accountability, and I'll just start a stream. I've been wanting to do it anyway.
Whoa. I brought it up. And then
That's right,
you
you
got
did.
excited.
I thought it was a great idea.
Yes.
So anyway, I came up with this great idea, and Pepper was like, yeah, that's a great idea.
I'm actually the one that came up with the good idea.
Apparently this is important to Pepper. Anyway,
It is.
so we
Because
decided
initially
to do
we
an
were supposed
accountability.
to go back and forth between our two channels.
Why didn't we?
You said it's kind of stupid to go, or silly to go between two different channels.
Did I?
It confuses people.
I don't remember that.
I remember.
And I
the
don't feel
discussion.
that either, so that's why it makes it even funnier. Because now I'm like, I can't even defend the logic behind it because I don't remember saying it. So there's that. Yep, that's what you get.
Well, no, you said that at first, and then you said that you were going to stream more often because we started doing it. And so, with you streaming more often, you thought do it on yours. You were going to develop a following faster.
That doesn't even remotely sound right. But okay.
Well, I don't know.
I'm
just trying to go off of memory here.
I know. So am I, which obviously is so obviously great. Anyway, you derailed me.
Yes, I'm good at that.
Yep. So whoever started it, it doesn't really matter because it was both of us decided to. Pepper and I decided to do this, and so we started streaming it as an accountability. So like we knew if we were here every day. I think that's probably, you may have misunderstood my intentions, or I miscommunicated my intentions, because my thought was if you had people who were following you, you would be required to show up every day. But I remember thinking at the time, ha, we will never have followers. But because imposter syndrome is real. So that was where we were going with that one.
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up here. And then when we started this, we brought stragglers from that Red Team Go group. And Red Team Go has published a couple of comics already. So they're out in the world and people knew who they were in the local scene, not in a big scene, but like Um,
Denver.
yeah, it's very similar to a gaming group, except that we actually publish comics instead of playing games, and so that became sort of an ongoing thing, which was cool. And then Red Team Go dissolved completely, and so we didn't want to call this Red Team Go. And Red Team Go broke up because there were two factions in Red Team Go that got kind of in not. And I'm loath to use the term factions because it's not. Some of the people in Red Team Go felt like Red Team Go's mission was to help other artists and get them up to speed. And some people in Red Team Go felt like Red Team Go's mission was to make comics and produce them for the local Colorado scene. And so the comic side I was leery of from the very beginning, because usually when money gets involved, people get weird and then it just becomes a problem and stuff. So I was totally on board with the idea of not being in that group. So I was just doing we went and met every week or sometimes twice a week at the Perkins that you were just talking about, Andy, a couple of days ago, that one that's right up at 88th and Wadsworth. And we meet up about twice a week and we just draw together. We'd sit down, we'd get our art stuff out and we'd draw together. And if we had any questions, we'd be like, crap, how do you do this again? And stuff like that. When it fell apart, I was like, well, we could kind of do this still here the same way, get online and we could all then do the same thing. So that's kind of where this all came from. That's the history. So that's why you don't know any of these guys. They're all from the Red Team Go group. But the Red Team Go group is really cool and they're nice people. So it's and they're geeky. And then there's Trouble, like Pepper's Trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna I just got along with a lot of the people in the group, so yeah. I was out of the politics and the dynamic of the drama.
Yeah, I stayed out of it too. And actually I have been very firm with the guys because I want to be friends with I want to stay friends with all of them. So whatever their thing is, I'm not getting involved in it, which I have done with the various die groups too, because that's not the first groups that have done this. The die groups have also done that too.
Then people wonder why I avoid group activities altogether.
I just don't get involved in it. I just try to say, you know what, it's cool. I don't have a judgment as to whether people are. I don't pass judgment on people, and I just kind of go along. And I mean, part of it is that I have a philosophy that people are if people have made a mistake or an error, it was likely completely innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a name for it. And I've lost the name of it, but there's a name for that. The saying of "do not attribute to malice that which can be easily explained by idiocy." There's a name for that. It's actually because it was, and I think ignorance is probably a better one. Idiocy is a little harsh. But I think he was trying to be funny because he was working on Murphy's Laws when he came up with it, whoever this guy was. But
it wasn't Murphy?
No, it's one of the guys who was working on Murphy's Laws, so it's called something else. Hang on real quick, I'll look it up because it was cool. I was all excited to know that term. I believe I even said, because my sister sent it to me, I believe I even said to her, I was like, hey, I'm using that. And she's like, I thought you'd like that. So.
Okay.
She named me it.
So, Guy, do you think that having this white space right here should be fine?
Yeah, I think that actually looks really well. It's called Hanlon's Razor. Yeah, Hanlon's Razor. There you go. Hanlon's Razor. I live my life by Hanlon's Razor. I've decided that's it. Thanks, Bob. Although I found it at the exact same time, but that's still fine. Bob found it faster than me. I just wasn't looking up at the screen. Yep. So, but yeah, Hanlon's Razor is the name of that. Do not attribute to malice thing, which I realize I live a lot of my life around that. Some people really are, but I've even come to the conclusion that there are like points where you not forgive, because forgive's not the right word. You don't forgive, but you can understand, you can comprehend. Why did I close the color codes? What was my problem, Pepper?
Hamlet's Razor.
Yep, Hanlon's Razor. And it's like some people are really malicious, but then you find out that they're really malicious because, they had some bad interaction or something like that. And I don't know. It's one of those things that then I'm kind of like, well, do you hold that against them? I don't know. Maybe not. It's tough.
The problem is when you have something bad happen to you and you hold other people to the same level that you would hold that person that did that to you.
Yeah. You hold them responsible.
Yeah.
And that's an issue. And that's unconscionable. I mean, that's not appropriate behavior.
Well, like I've had to tell some people who've like come to me for like advice for like relationships and stuff. I'm like, first of all, please don't think that I'm good at relationships because it took me a while before me and Bill like were good.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, but like please don't use me as a reference. Because my husband will gladly tell you I am not perfect.
Pepper, do you think any of us are?
Yeah. No. I've only met one family that was like June Cleaver and gang.
Oh yeah.
And they freaked me out.
I'm sure.
Oh boy. And if you guys ever meet someone like that, like trust me, there's like some underlying unhealthiness going on there, I swear.
It's funny, I just was talking about that earlier today.
What?
That very thing about people who, if too good to be true sort of people.
Yeah.
I'm just talking.
Well, the thing is like it, like they seem like the most idyllic family, but like I think one of the sons is like has been in and out of rehab several times.
Yep.
And just like a lot of stuff came out about the family when he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, generally speaking, that's something that it's not always true, obviously, but it was definitely something that my mother was working on when she was in the field, and that is generally when people have an abuse problem of some sort, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, or whatever, there's an underlying family problem that's going on that they cannot rectify.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sidestepping it, and by sidestepping it, they tend to do drugs or alcohol to escape the fact that they can't address the problem for whatever reason. Which is back to one of the reasons why I have a lot more tolerance of people who are drug users or alcoholics, because I figure there's something else that they're working through that they haven't gotten to yet.
I
And
actually grew up around those types of people, so that's why I tend to tolerate them a little bit better.
yeah. So, typically speaking, definitely it's a thing that I feel for those people, because but it's that was one of the things that led me to the Hanlon's razor. It's like,
Yep.
it's like, people tend to have this belief that folks who are on drugs or whatever are, they just need to buck up or whatever, and you can't. They're locked somehow. They've gotten some segment of their life locked, and they can't rectify it. And so,
Well,
until they
it's
do,
like
you're not
for
going to get.
some of my family, for some of my family members, it's strong emotions brings it out.
Yeah.
So like if if they fall on hard times, they turn to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so like and everyone's like, but they can just choose. I'm like, no, you don't understand. They don't see a choice.
Yeah, they're locked.
They see this is what I have to do. I'm upset, I'm sad, I'm depressed. This is what I have to do to feel better. And it doesn't matter who I hurt in the process.
Well, and I don't think it doesn't matter who they hurt. I think, because I mean, this is actually literally what my therapist and I have been kind of talking about, because
Mm-hmm.
I stress eat, and we've been trying to address the stress eating, because it's
Mm-hmm.
obviously not good for me, and it's making me routinely gain weight.
Yeah.
And the whole problem that I've got is, because she was saying, that, you shouldn't be eating these things, eating cookies and stuff like that when you're nervous and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, I do know. And for some reason, I either convince myself that it's okay, or, just kind of go on autopilot, or, you know what I mean? Like and I know I'm not doing myself any good.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, that's actually pretty normal. And, it happens a lot when you're dealing with unresolved issues. The issues that are unresolved with me are ADD related. Because, of course, I didn't grow up in a time when they knew what ADD was. So they just assumed I was a bad kid and just kept beating on me until the morale improved. Not literally, but it was, sort of figurative.
It's not morale improvement. It's called you learned on how to mask better.
Well, that's what I was joking with the beatings will continue until morale improves joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was the thing. I mean, that was sort of
I went through it too.
Yeah, I mean,
I have my own version of it.
Yeah, but what has happened is, like what had happened this week, I screwed up my order of things, and for some reason, because the days were wrong, I had forgotten that my big meeting with the driving school was today. And I needed to have all of these animations done by today, because I knew that today's meeting was going to be a where are you, and we're going to stop your forward progress at this point.
You don't have
right, and I don't have it done, and of course I can't just leave it unfinished. So I started stress eating because I had screwed up. In my mind's eye, I messed up, because I'm used to, as a child, the inner child in me or whatever would mess things up like that, and then everybody would be mad. So the pattern continues with me. I'm mad at myself. You know what I mean? So I'm supposed to be mad at myself. So that's what we've been kind of working through. But yeah, I've been stress eating. It's really hard to drink just water. This is just water,
My choice of stress eating is due to anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety will trigger it too, for me as well. Anyway, so all I'm really saying is I understand sort of a little bit more because I'm cognizant and aware. I don't want to overeat, and I overeat all the time when I'm stressed out, even though I know it's bad for me and I know it's not something I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And it's like I will either convince myself that it's okay this one time, or if I sit there and say no, it is not, you're not allowed to do it, then I will go on ahead and do the, well, oh gee willikers, you just ate those cookies and didn't even think about it, did you? Sort of thing. Which of course that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because then I'll eat the cookies and feel guilty about eating the cookies and then eat more cookies.
Yeah.
I'm looking for dopamine hits, probably. We were talking about the three. There are a number of problems that kind of conflate on this one, because I actually was raised well. I like that picture. I like where it's going. I like the angle. The angle is super dramatic.
So you have an aunt right there. You have all the
Uncle
three
right
kids.
there.
Yep.
Sorry.
And then
I can't help myself.
yeah. So I have one more of these to do, but I am calling it a night. It's only half an hour until you're off permanent for good. So
forever.
Well, no, just for tonight.
I know. I'm just being horsey.
So, Friday I'm probably gonna be gone pretty much all day, and then tomorrow I don't know if I'll be able to make the night show. So this may be the last time this week. Guy, did I freeze?
No, I mean, yes. No, you're fine by me. Oh, I froze.
Okay.
Oh, I froze.
There you are.
It was
Well,
me.
I didn't hear you. Okay. All right. I'm like,
I froze.
Okay.
All I was saying was, it's totally cool. Whatever you need to do, life happens. It's the way it goes. The whole thing is just don't forget. That's the most important part,
Well, yeah. But I will keep you apprised if anything changes. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow night, but I know I can't be on tomorrow morning. And then Friday is a no-go all day. So
totally cool, dude.
All right.
You do you. I'll see you later. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
All right. At some point, I will have to fix this, I believe. And I don't know if I want to do this tonight or not. I might do this tonight. But we have to think through what is Chang's skill sets. So a couple of days ago, we were talking back when I messed up my entire universe by not doing the right thing at the right time. We were talking about how this works, this system of identifying rank or identifying your merits in a society. And that's that we've got to come up with this. This is this patch of medals and ribbons and things like that. So that she wears right here and right there. And I'm just trying to kind of figure out what was I doing with it. What was the battle plan? Does anybody remember the battle plan? I'm also noticing that, well, no. So this puts one more rank of medals that she didn't have. So that's these three over here. So I'm thinking that maybe she has medals that she won't wear. That seems pretty accurate. Because she doesn't want to be recognized for that. That's part of the character. And that's kind of a question as to whether that's possible. Well, whether we want to make that a rule or not. So part of this whole thing is the meritocracy that we were talking about before. Being a meritocracy in the society, you're judged on your ribbons, so to speak. Civilians have their own version of it. And the higher the rank on these things, the more you're respected in a field. So I haven't thought it through very well yet because I'm still working it through. But let's just say, for example, I just put random things on here. But if we were talking about, say, these guys, let's say here, this could be, you're a scientist. And I went on ahead and colored them the same way as karate belts for right now, because that's actually another meritocracy, right? Martial arts is very much a meritocracy. So in this particular thing, this is a brown belt in science, or whatever. And this may not be a military setup, a military rig. This could be a civilian rig. So I just put random icons in here to indicate things. But you'd know what all these icons mean. And so you'd be like looking at this person and you'd be like, oh, well, I kind of need somebody who can shoot. So here is this, here's the shooty thing. And you're an orange belt in shooty, So white being a novice. Yeah. So white means that you've hit 10,000 hours. Each one of these is a 10,000 hour level thing. So, you go up to yellow at 20,000 and orange at 30,000 and so on and so forth. Well, and that's what I'm saying, Bob, is that, if you can carry your civilian credentials on your chest as a military person, because that's an expectation, then because you should be able to take your civilian experience and use it to the advantage in the military, and stuff like that. So your civilian skill sets would pass. So you'd be wearing not only the skill sets that you have earned doing various things, but also skill sets that you have from your civilian life. And if you can wear those, this is an entirely different way of thinking. We have to kind of think a completely different way. This isn't just ribbons. The idea is the more of these that you have, the more diverse you are, but the deeper their color, the more expert you are. Right, because you can diversify. But this also means things like this. I've been thinking about the idea that you can have, you're a parent, right? And part of the reason for that is because, as I was saying before, parents like you and like me and like my buddy Troy, all three of us were stay-at-home parents. And that was like our mission statement. But if you look at, say, as a great example, Troy, he has 12 years of no job because he stayed at home to take care of the kids. So now he's actually trying to re-enter into the workforce, and his resume says he's been unemployed for 12 years, right? And he hasn't been. He's been employed. He's been working as a dad. You know what I mean? So if you've got these things that are personal life, I think you can't reject your military MOS. So she can't she can't pull off the ribbons that are MOS. But I do think she can choose to not have her civilian skills on there. So, and the reason I'm saying that is because, of course, she had a daughter, right? And the daughter died. So I think she's not going to put the parent ribbon on her rack of ribbons. So, because she's not over that. This is part of this character. She's deep in it, and she's up to her eyeballs in it, and she's denying it, and there's all kinds of stuff. So I don't think she's not going to go with this. So I think she's going to be doing, first of all, I'm going to take this Unity service pack now that I've got some space in here. And I will move it. Yeah, exactly. Languages. Whatever languages you've got, you know? And some of them would, you'd have all these languages that were granted to you. Literally. It totally can. But it also needs to be respected. Like, it's not an easy job, I mean, from the obvious, changing diapers, but even at, the age of my kid, having to be the heavy, having to yell at him, having to get on his case for not doing his homework, and, all of these things, and trying to do it in a way that does not get just rolled eyes, and trying to get through to him, or in the field of like just trying to get an ADD kid, because he's an ADD kid, trying to get the ADD kid to work with it. You know what I mean? I think it's all kinds of stuff. I don't know why I found having a kid and dealing with diapers wasn't as weird to me or disturbing to me as people who take care of the elderly and have to change diapers. I find that to be, so like elder care. So anyway, sort of where I am on this one, I was thinking about that, was we could come up with having to deal with kids being picked on in school, bullying. You have to let the kid figure it out on their own, but you also want to be supportive when your kid goes into teenagerdom and they're pilfering your car. You know what I mean? It's like, being hauled in by the cops or whatever. I mean, those are the things that it's rough. You know what I mean? It's just rough. Anyway, I like the idea of these being her top skills, like the things that she's got more than 10,000 hours in. So you don't even get the white one until you've achieved 10,000 hours. Right. Yeah, right. I should get a ribbon for me being special needs. Ugh. But yeah. But exactly, that's the idea. And I think that with her, she's not going to put her civilian ones on there. And maybe it's an all or nothing. I don't know. Or no, maybe, I guess. But I think you're right. your MOS stuff you can't decide to not put on there, because that's your MOS and that's what you should be. I mean, they're going to be going, okay, what are you doing here? You've decided not to wear any of your ribbons and your MOS, so yeah, Spectrum is sucky. All of Spectrum sucks. I'm just grumpy about Spectrum. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Sure. But like, for example, I mean, that's a thing. When I tell people that I'm a second degree black belt, that people, oh, really? You know what I mean? It's a second degree black belt in archery, but it's still a second degree black belt, right? I mean, that's a respectable thing. People can respect it. It means I spent time, and it means I did the discipline thing. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely something that is respected in our society. People, oh, really? You're a second degree? Oh, that's amazing. That's cool. I hear that a lot, especially since I tested both times for my belts or my degrees. I tested for them in Mito, Japan, in Japanese. Once you tell people that, it's a whole different level. It's like, wow, really? Wow, that's amazing. No, but that's a thing. That's the thing, right? Once you get it, it's respected because you put the time and grade into it. Even if you've forgotten stuff, you put the time and grade in, right? And it's like when I was in high school, I got a crappy junk car. So the first thing that I had to do was replace its transmission with a floor jack, right? So we replaced the transmission, put the new transmission in, and then it started smoking. So that became a major problem over an entire week or over the summer. That summer after school, we had to take the engine out and put it on an engine stand and strip it all the way down. Like take everything off of it. And we stripped it all the way down because the sleeves inside the cylinder bores had come loose. And so we had to repress new sleeves in. And so it was this bizarre thing, but I came out of it with mechanics skills. I now know stem to stern how a car basically works. It's a 70s car, so it was a lot easier and simpler than a 90s car, but the principles haven't really changed. So when it came time for me to be hired as a driving instructor, they were like, okay, what do you know about cars? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to know? I was like, I could tell you that, Subarus have a flat 4 Boxster engine that's ridiculous to work on. And they're like, what? Because that's a skill. And as a driving instructor, that became very useful. But it's not something that anybody gave me a certificate on. I just spent some 20,000 hours under a car, because it was a piece of junk. And that's the thing. And when I got this job as a driving instructor, they wanted that. That was one of the things they wanted, because there's a section in the teaching side where we teach you how a car works and how to change your oil and how to change a tire and basic stuff. But the kids, I get varying grades of kids. Some kids are like, I don't understand how a transmission works or why we have one. And I'm like, well, okay, let me explain it. So that's true, man. I didn't want to do that. That's the thing. being spectrumy, having grease on my hands was horrible. Like, it was a terrible thing. Yeah. But it did come in handy when I was over there, because they only had one car available when I showed up. My company did, but they were putting me out in the boonies too far from a train. So I wasn't close to a train station, so they needed to give me a car, but they only had one, and it was manual. And so I was like, that doesn't bother me. I can drive anything. And so they gave me the manual, and I drove it around for a year and a half, almost 2 years. And then they swapped me out for a K car because the manual was huge. It wasn't huge by American standards, but they didn't like the costs of it because they paid for the gas. And so it cost a lot to drive the bigger cars. So they wanted me to be in a K car. So they finally, after in year, almost the end of year 2, they gave me a K car, which was fun. I liked the K car. It's ridiculous. It's just such a bizarre little car, but I liked it. I was fine with it. But yeah, so that's the idea that I've got here is every skill can be tested at. You can test. Some are awarded by life experience, and some are because of off-tracking. Off-tracking is a really hard thing for people to grasp. No legroom. Somehow, Andy, I managed to get my bow into a K car. I mean, it went the entire length of the car, but I got it in there. That was actually really funny because they were like, we're going to swap out your car and we're going to get you a K car. And I said, okay, but you know I'm in Qudo. So they were like, don't worry about it. We've got a lot of people who do Qudo, and they fit fine. And I was like, I'm skeptical. No, I got it inside. It went from the floorboard of the passenger seat all the way across the back seats and to the it was a station wagon, so it had it was a little station wagon. So it went all the way to the back, and I had about this much room where I could close the back door, and it was still, about that far from the back door. But I did it every time. It was so freaking funny. I managed to pull it off somehow. So, but yeah, it was fun. I miss Japan a lot. I really do. At some point, I'll come back. I'll be like, we're coming over. We're going to have lunch, Andy. Have to go. It was too much for Maya, too. And I can't blame her. I can't blame her at all. Major stuff. Yeah. Hey, Andy, what prefecture are you in? I think I've asked you this, and I know I have a feel. Oh, okay, yeah, you're in Kanagawa. Because, like I said, I have a feel of where you were, but then I was like, I know if I say Kanagawa, you're gonna be like, no, it's not Kanagawa, it's Chiba, and I'll be like, no, I feel bad. So, I was in Ibaraki, so up there in Inaka, out in the middle of nowhere. It was great. I love that place. Well, and I think a lot of it also was, I'm a city boy. I mean, I grew up here in Arvada, which I know a lot of people. Oh, Ibaraki? It's the dog-shaped one. Sorry. So you got Tokyo, and then you got Chiba right above Tokyo. And then the Tonegawa goes up there, the Tone River goes up this way. And right above the Tone River is the big prefecture. It's where the tsunami hit in 311. At the very tip of Ibaraki is the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. So it doesn't matter. North and east of where you are. North. Lots of north. So that's a thing. Let's see if I can bring up a map. I was gonna say, could you number them? No, I guess not. So, yeah, I mean, let's see if I can bring this over. There we go. So yeah, you're here, and I was here in 8. You're in 14, and I was in 8. I was actually right about where. I don't know if I can get that any bigger. Let's see. I can sort of get it bigger, but it's wandering to the right. I don't want it to run to the right. There we go. So, yeah, thanks. You're lovely. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, Fukushima Daiichi. Fukushima Daiichi is right here, and I was right here, and it's hard to see because of me. I'm in the way of me. I'm in the way of this. There we go. Yeah, so Andy's here, and I was over here. And the Tonegawa, the Tone River, is this line right there. It's one of the 3 rivers in Tokyo. So Tokyo is is based on those 3 rivers. The old city, the old capital of Edo, was built around those 3 rivers. So, and the Tonegawa was one of them. So. Yeah, so earthquakes. So I kept a Gundam X, like not a gun club, but the little plastic toys Gundams. I kept one on the TV, and my whole thing was if the Gundam fell off the TV, then I was going to go outside. But if the Gundam didn't fall off the TV, then shrug. I didn't care. It wasn't a big enough earthquake. So it was kind of funny. That was my whole thing. Yeah. That was I still have him somewhere. He's in a box, and I should pull him out because he was pretty kick butt. I love X Gundam's like the best. That was the best one. Just saying, X Gundam rocked. So, anyway, I don't think I am quite ready to decide what her ribbons are. I'm right now smack in the middle of this picture. Move me down to back here again. But yeah, that was a funny. I don't know. I really enjoyed my time in Japan, and I was enjoying it at the time, which I think is one of those rare things that doesn't happen a lot in my life. A lot of times in my life, I sort of have today is okay, sort of like general operation. And then, boy, but it's not as good as yesterday was, or whatever, not yesterday in a a metaphorical sense, not yesterday in a literal sense. But Japan was one of those times where today was awesome and yesterday was awesome. It was one of those rare times. So it's kind of a thing. Now I look back on it and I'm like, So it's all good. Just saying. Is there a full moon? Loved Gundam X. That was cool. I really liked it because Tifa in there was definitely, they were coming back to cycling around to that new type function again. Right? I'm with you on 2 of those. I'm actually, because if it was me, it's the scary bugs, the earthquakes, and the unbelievable heat in the summer. I am such a polar bear. I don't do well. I really don't do well. And that when it starts creeping into the upper 30s, lower 40s, and then it starts creeping into the mid 40s, and it's 100% humidity, and you're like, really? Oh, God. But the cold didn't bother me as much. So I didn't mind the cold as much. Although I've got to admit, you get down to 0 degrees and 100% humidity, and it's no fun. That's a no fun moment. Because like right now here, it is nothing degrees. Apparently, it's nothing degrees. Who knew? It's 1 degree right now outside. A mukade? I don't know what a mukade. Well, I might know a mukade. You know. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, see, like I never got anything in my Leo Palace, astonishingly. Nothing was ever in my Leo Palace, which still kind of amazes me in a lot of ways. Yeah. No. Yeah. Do they bite? They bite, don't they? Those things bite. And I think they're poisonous too. So, Yeah. Yeah, no. And then, like, the frickin' cicadas. I mean, it's such a classic Japan trope, but those cicadas are huge. Oh, yeah. They bite and kill people. It's like the Suzumubashi. Yeah, nah, they don't hurt people. No, I had one land on me once though, and I ran around and screamed like a little child, and ran in circles, and then locked myself in my car. That was my response to the cicada. I was like, oh, gotcha. Well, dead's good. No, the Suzumabachi, the murder hornets. We had one of those in my seventh grade class, and that was a thing. We got loose in our 7th grade class, and the kids they fell apart, totally came unglued. And then the like 99-year-old groundskeeper came in and just went and killed it. I was like, well, that's a thing. Yeah. Suzumubachi. Not big on those guys. Yeah, had one loose in our classroom. It's an unpleasant thing. Oh, I don't know. I found it comforting to sleep to those guys. As long as they weren't in my room with me, which they never were. But like I said, somehow my Leo Palace never managed to get an insect in it. which was good because I was on the ground floor and entirely plausible insects would have been in there. But those Leo palaces are, I don't know, something weird about those Leo palaces. Like they're built different. I'm willing to theorize that the Leo palaces are self-contained units glued together because they're sealed. It's like I couldn't hear next doors and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's little teeny places. Had 18 square meters. It was awesome. They didn't even measure it in tatami. It was really weird. It was so strange. It was like so weird. And it was cool. But yeah. Yep. It's in the Leo Palace. Love that place. I actually really did like that place though. I mean, you'd think 18 square meters would be sort of a but it really wasn't bad. It was just me. I mean, like Mariah had her own apartment in Moria. And so she was near a train station. So what I would usually do is drive to her place, and she had a bigger apartment. And so I'd drive to her place and stay with her for the weekend, and then we'd go into Tokyo because she was by the TX, the Tsukuba Express, which went straight out of Akihabara up to Tsukuba. So it was a straight shot into Akihabara, and then once we were in Akihabara, we could take the Yamanote around and go anywhere. So it was pretty cool. But because of that, she had the bigger apartment, and then I just stayed in the little Leo Palace. And then on the off chance she would stay with me, we just put a little pallet out on the floor because actually the bed was not big enough for the two of us to sleep in without trying to kick one or the other of them out of the bed. And so it became one of those uncomfortable things. So she ended up just staying on the floor. It was really sad, but that's all right. We didn't stay at my place very often for that very reason, because we could stay together if we were in her apartment. So, all right, it's 12:04. I should probably go to bed. Bob, you need to go to bed too. I hope to see you more, Andy. I like having you here. It's great chatting with you. And it's great chatting with you, Bob. And it's great chatting with Brent. But Brent, I think, did what Brent usually does, where he just kind of passes out at some point in time. And that's cool. Did we have Jerry here? Somewhere we had Jerry. I thought we had Jerry at some point. No, we just had you three, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. So, okay, guys. Well, as I oft say, remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Have a good dinner, Andy. I hope you feel. I hope you stay very far away from centipedes, because, like, really. Yep. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, and keep your eyes on the stars. Good night.